You're muted. That was the problem. All right, mic test again. Mic test again. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Good morning. First, I'd like to welcome you to the Attorney General's new headquarters office during our period of capital renovation over the coming years. This building, it may lack the grandeur of walking through the rotunda of our state capitol, but the bathrooms and the AC work, both a plus, and the caliber of the people are what make this building. The caliber of the men and women that you cross paths with, friends from the media as you walked in, that you'll cross paths with on the way out, and that I'll be introducing you to here in a moment. That's what makes this building special. That's what makes the office of the Attorney General special, and its ability to serve Kentucky. Because of the work we do for the people we serve, we're gonna spend a lot of time in this room together, you and us, in the coming years. Before we begin, though, I want to pause for a moment and recognize an anniversary, but a horrific one. I want to pause and recognize the anniversary of the horrific October 7th attacks on the state of Israel, on families, on kids. On that day, Hamas slaughtered more than 1,200 men, women, and children in a naked act of butchery. 46 Americans were killed. This terrorist organization, Hamas, took more than 250 hostages just to prolong this suffering. Now, we are proud of President Trump that he has shaped an agreement to end this war and bring the hostages home, both those that are alive and the bodies of those that have lost their lives. In this moment, it is a time to reflect, but it's also a time for optimism, cautious optimism and hope as to peace and what lies before us. Our Commonwealth will continue to stand with our allies, the State of Israel, against this ugly smear of anti-Semitism, either in southern Israel, in our Commonwealth, or anywhere it stands that would threaten our brothers and sisters in the Jewish community, again, in this Commonwealth around the globe. Now to the task at hand. Oftentimes you'll hear me refer to the Office of the Attorney General as a Swiss Army knife. That's because of the many tools that under our Constitution and the legislature has imbued us with. We may be discussing from this podium utility regulation one moment, criminal appeals another, or consumer protection yet another. But with everything we do since day one of our driving priorities has been to protect Kentucky families, to protect our kids. Sometimes that manifests itself in a criminal prosecution, handcuffs on a subject. Right now in Perry County, Kentucky, we are prosecuting a hands-on offender. The jury's being selected as we speak. Sometimes we use other tools, our civil authorities, which brought us here today. In this eye-opening and quite frankly gut-wrenching book, The Anxious Generation, social psychologist Jonathan Haidt, he focuses on the premise that we have overprotected in the real world and we have underprotected in the virtual world, underprotected our kids online. I seldom do this, but this is for parents, this is must read. For law enforcement officers, for aunts and uncles, for mamas and papas, this is a must read book for parenting in the 21st century. This describes what we face, and I would recommend that parents, from a dad to dads to moms, read this book. It was parents, we can lock the door to our house, we can turn on the security system, but as long as there is that phone, as long as there is this, and our kids are on this, the doors to our homes are thrown open. Not only to our county, not only to our Commonwealth, but thrown open to the world. You know, I've long said that this is the most dangerous item in your home, this, and tablets and computers. Unfortunately, today, we're gonna have an exemplar of why. Today, as Attorney General, I'm proud to announce the Commonwealth of Kentucky has filed a lawsuit against Roblox for its knowing failure to protect children from the darkness that lurks on its platform. Roblox is the website of choice for child predators. Since it first hit the market in 2006, Roblox has worked hard to gain trust. Its cartoonish figures and experiences appeal directly to children. One of my Attorney General colleagues said it best. She said, she's a parent of a teen who allowed her young son to play on Roblox because it was, quote, the safe one. Their marketing has worked. That's why nearly 2/3 of all US kids, 2/3 of kids under the age of 13 play games on a Roblox platform. Today it has 380 million monthly users and has raked in extraordinary profits. Underneath this cartoonish, innocent venue is something sinister. The platform has become a playground for predators who seek to harm our children. Worst of all, the exploitation that begins on Roblox platform all too often escalates into real-world criminal activity. Our lawsuit is a major step to hold Roblox accountable. We're holding this platform accountable for online sex rooms. We're holding this platform accountable for sextortion, and we're holding this platform accountable for child sexual abuse material. Holding them accountable for allowing extremist sextortion groups like 764 to groom children on Roblox and other platforms. Earlier this year, a 25-year-old Kentucky man with ties to 764 pleaded guilty as part of a plot to groom, extort, threaten, and even conspire to kill a child as young as 8 using various online platforms. I'm proud of my old office, the United States Attorney's Office for the Western District of Kentucky, for this successful prosecution. We also learned that after the gruesome assassination of Charlie Kirk, sickening so-called assassination simulators immediately popped up on Roblox. They allowed children as young as 5 to access bloody images of the shooting. Bloody images that you know our kids can't unsee once viewed. This is not happening in the shadows. This vile conduct and the criminals behind it they've been allowed to exist right there in the open, where innocent children think they're just playing a cartoon game. Here is my message to parents. Get your kids off Roblox. Do it today. They may kick and scream, they may call you names, but as a parent of teens, we're used to that anyway. That's okay. What we're talking about today is what protecting our kids looks like in the digital age. For years, individuals have called on Roblox to implement stronger safety features to mitigate this harm, to protect our kids. But the company's response has been anything but adequate. Young kids are able to create accounts quickly, easily, and without their parents' knowledge. Admittedly, something I learned in the last few days when I learned one of my own children created an account at 10 years old. At 10 years old. Inflated his age by 5 years. And while, yes, that was wrong, he was a 10-year-old. This hits home for many of us. This threat is present in many of our homes. Now, once they're on the platform, there is very little to stop kids from messaging predators who are looking for their next victim. Now, Roblox has even tried to silence those who have raised these security risks. The famous case of one of their developers, Schlepp, immediately comes to mind. Even the developers of Roblox themselves, even Roblox employees, say they wouldn't let their kids play on the platform because of the poor protections or the lack of protections thereof. Now, instead of fixing these clear and present problems, Roblox has chosen to do nothing and continue profiting off harm to our kids. So using the authority of the Attorney General's Office and the Kentucky Consumer Protection Act, we're going to compel them to change their ways. We'll push ahead with all possible speed. At this very moment, there are kids in this Commonwealth who are on Roblox and could be falling into the grasp of a predator or seeing things that they can't unsee. It's what the Office of the Attorney General was built for, protecting our kids. Now, before I turn over the podium, I'd like to recognize the team behind this effort that brought us here today. We are so served in this Commonwealth by our Deputy Attorney General, Robert M. Duncan Jr. Rob is an extraordinary leader. We're also blessed to have Justin Clark as our Civil Chief, the talents of Philip Hellringer as our Executive Director of the Office of Consumer Protection. Alec Scutchfield just joined us in our Consumer Protection team, bringing all of his experience. He's wasted no time in getting after it and getting things done. I'd also like to recognize the leadership of our law enforcement colleagues here within the Office of the Attorney General, our Department of Criminal Investigations, DCI. These are folks who investigate internet crimes on a daily basis. Talk about looking into the darkness and seeing images that they can't unsee on our behalf. Commissioner Rich Ferretti is here. I'm honored to have you here, Commissioner, who leads our team, and Matt Hedden, the Director of our Special Victims Unit. These are special leaders on our behalf. And Jeremy Merrill will be joining us on the podium here in a moment, a 20-year veteran of the Kentucky State Police, the first ever Deputy Commissioner for Counter-Exploitation. It's a long title, it's a new role. We've created that position and did at the very beginning of this administration to respond with a sense of urgency to this very threat. So I'd like to ask the Deputy Commissioner to come up to the podium and offer a few words.
Good morning. I'll be brief with my comments, but I do want to build on what the Attorney General pushed on just a little bit. We know in the line of work that we do that predators gravitate towards gaming and other online platforms that are popular with children. That's where their prey is, that's where they're going. They use these platforms to establish rapport with young users, often posing as children themselves initially. Their goal is to exploit these children. They may do that on the platform they start on. They may move them to multiple other platforms to chat with and groom these children. The potential outcomes of this type of victimization include sextortion, suicide, self-harm, abduction, and sexual assault. This is not a national problem. This is happening right here in Kentucky. As the Attorney General mentioned, Department of Criminal Investigations is an affiliate agency of the Kentucky Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. That task force received 13,052 cyber tips in 2024. As of today, this task force has received 13,030 cyber tips. We're well on our way to surpassing last year's numbers. More than 50% of those cyber tips deal with online enticement, and that's what we're talking about today. The rest, unfortunately, deal with child sex abuse material, possession and distribution of those images. We are urging parents they must be hypervigilant and take a extremely active role, more active role in their children's online presence to protect them from these predators. Thank you for your time.
Now, every time I stand at this podium, I stand here now as your Attorney General, but more importantly, as a dad. Parents, just like me, see this Roblox challenge as a real nightmare. A nightmare scenario because of this view of safety, because we want to find a safe platform for our kids, because the cartoonish nature appears safe on its face and it's anything but. I want you to hear from another one of those parents. Courtney Norris is a Jefferson County mom of 3 who is trying to protect her kids online. This is someone who is parenting right, is parenting with intentionality, and so her words carry great weight.
Good morning. As the Attorney General said, my name is Courtney Norris, and I'm here today simply as a wife, a working mom of 3 kids, ages 14, 11, and 9, and I consider myself to be a very engaged parent. My husband and I continuously educate ourselves on the most recent technology, and I know the dangers the internet can bring into our home. And I thought I was doing everything right. Monitoring devices, setting limits, having open dialogue with my kids. However, as we all know, parenting is hard, and digital parenting is an entire beast on its own. And at the end of the day, I'm just an average parent trying to do the best I can for my kids. Like many parents, I thought Roblox is a safe choice. I describe it as a fenced-in backyard for kids gaming. And that is the genius and the danger I found of Roblox. The illusion of safety, again, gives parents like me. Roblox is very popular. It presents itself as a bright, safe, creative playground. But I came to realize later than I would like to admit that it actually is the wild west of the internet targeted at children. After sharing my story on Facebook about Roblox and the struggle I'd had as a parent trying to police it and the dangers it presented to my family, I was flooded with questions from other worried parents. So many of my friends had questions. And the saddest part was I had no answers. They wanted help to police it. They wanted to be able to give their kids a safe place to play it. But the only answer I had, the only advice that I have today, is to delete it. The reality is, Roblox makes it nearly impossible to police as a parent. It breaks my heart every time I hear of another tragedy linked to this platform. If your kids are on Roblox, please don't assume that your child would not fall prey to this. Assume that Roblox is the Wild West for bad actors who are experts at exploiting our kids. So I encourage you today again to delete it. Because the truth is, we parents are doing our part, and now it is time for platforms like Roblox to do theirs. I want to thank General Coleman for his leadership on this issue. I know he is the top law enforcement official, but more importantly, he comes to this as a parent. And he knows that we can't protect our kids from every danger in the world, but we can stand up for them. And we can demand that online spaces live up to the safety that they promise. Thank you.
We'll take questions in just a moment. This morning, as I was taking my kids to school, kissing them goodbye, my 14-year-old, rather freedom-minded son said to me, "Dad, you need to tell them that your good job now is to make Roblox great again." And then he paused and he said, maybe you need to just say, make Roblox safe again. The reality is, it's never been safe. It is actually more predatory now, given the numbers we're seeing, notwithstanding these purported corrections, mitigations by the company. It's never been safe. So we're here, the purpose of this lawsuit, the purpose of this event, to educate the public. We're here to make Roblox safe, full stop. So with that, any questions that we can take?
General Coleman, has this been done in any other states that you know of?
It has, and one of the things I found is both surprising and positive about this job is a degree of collaboration with other attorneys general. This is both ours and Dee's. And so on this issue, attorneys general have been talking for the last several months as this investigation, as we have collected information. Attorney General Liz Merrill in Louisiana was first to pull the trigger. She was first to take action against Roblox. She filed suit in August of this year. The Commonwealth of Kentucky is the second state to file suit. And I would say stay tuned, because many of my colleagues are just as interested as we are here in Kentucky in protecting our kids.
Can you expand on what this lawsuit is demanding of Roblox to do?
Yeah, it's demanding mitigation. It's demanding that Roblox actually do what it says it does. Two of the significant challenges in Roblox. One is the lack of true age verification. The age verification is a real farce. Hence the opportunity of my son, who online is 19, according to Roblox. Age verification that is able to both preclude younger kids from purporting to be older and predators purporting to be younger, to induce Roblox to actually have content filters that work and cannot be easily worked around, which is the case now. To encourage Roblox to provide additional parental notification, to provide disclaimers, to provide roadblocks, if you will, to advise younger kids the risk they're facing, and at the end of the day, to tell the truth, to advise parents that this is a problem. The challenge, as we found in this investigation, is even internally, employees have been incentivized and directed to not prevent speed bumps as they view them, to limit their metrics. It's all about the metrics. It's all about what they purport user engagement. User engagement is the number of our kids online. User engagement equates to more money in the door. And in fact, Roblox has tried to diminish the ratio of their revenue that they spend on security. It's been identified in investor calls where investors have sought for Roblox to skimp on security features. So what we're calling for is common sense. What we're calling for is Roblox to have a platform that it actually purports to have versus the safe playground. Courtney mentioned that this is a playground. Well, it's been said by some that yes, indeed, it's an intellectual playground with sexual predators hanging from every jungle gym. That's what it really is.
Attorney General, have you heard from anyone on the team of Roblox yet? And if you haven't, since we're early in this, do you know if Louisiana has?
I can't speak for Attorney General Merrill, and I would encourage you to reach out to her office. Roblox, we've had some outreach, but at this stage, we're speaking through litigation. And our door is open to try to settle this. At the end of the day, it's about change. At the end of the day, we want Roblox to change their platform. We talk about their massive profits. They made $3.6 billion a year last year. This company is not eating ramen noodles, right? What we're seeking is for them to apply reasonable security. It's not about limiting profits. We want to incentivize folks to do well. It's about implementing common sense safety features. So we would welcome engagement early and often from Roblox in settling this. I know my colleague in Louisiana, she's seeking an outcome here, not a press release. The purpose of this press conference is to warn parents. It's not for purposes of me to get to stand at this podium. It's to warn parents. We want Roblox to change its practices and welcome those conversations. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Attorney General, thank you. You mentioned you'd like to have some of those common sense security features. What would some of those features look like to you?
Well, I've talked about them. I don't want to reiterate. We're talking about age verification that is true age verification. Both using these are smart folks that design this platform, not only to limit kids underage. And I would encourage you, read our complaint, even scan our complaint. There are copies, links. This is not a complaint that I would want my kids to read, quite frankly. This complaint offers exemplars of 6-year-olds playing the game, walking into rooms filled with cartoon characters having sex. This complaint talks about how avatars are sexually assaulted, gang raped. Imagine trying to have that conversation with your kids. Again, these are things that once kids see, they don't unsee. Imagine that image of Mr. Kirk and his death. We know how so many of our kids learned of that, unfortunately, with phones shoved in their faces. Roblox offers exemplar after exemplar of traumatizing images that kids don't unsee. But it's cartoons, so it's fine, right? Read our complaint, please.
Could you
Yes, ma'am.
explain why this lawsuit was filed in Madison County?
So it was filed here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky because we have great faith in Kentucky judges to apply our Consumer Protection Act with fidelity.
If the courts rule in your favor and for some reason Roblox does not make any sort of changes, what would the outcome be? Would it be essentially pulling the plug and allowing that program to operate here similar to what we've done with some other websites here in the Commonwealth?
Well, that cart is way before the horse. I don't want to go down a hypothetical road. Our goal is to change Roblox. Our goal is to not drive a platform, shut a platform down. Our goal is for Roblox to be safe. And so it's my hope, looking directly at the camera, asking the leadership of Roblox to settle this with us. It is about making this platform safe for my kids and your kids. That's the outcome we want. I don't want to go down any draconian roads, but I will say we will enforce the law of this Commonwealth.
One more question.
Attorney General, on a different subject, can you kind of elaborate on where we are with the ongoing efforts to resume the death penalty here in Kentucky?
So I have a duty as the Attorney General, as do my colleagues in this office, to enforce our ultimate punishment here. The death penalty remains our ultimate punishment for the most egregious offenses. Some weeks ago, I sent a letter to Governor Beshear asking him to sign a death warrant for Ralph Bays. Now, for some of you, and I see your nods, you remember Mr. Bays. Mr. Bays in 1992 lay in wait for the sheriff and deputy sheriff of Powell County, and with his SKS, he assassinated these 2 law enforcement officers. He has been on death row for decades now. The governor stood at a podium like this and dodged a question when he was directly asked, Governor, why won't you sign the death warrant? And the governor gave, I guess what we call in Kentucky, a red herring or a straw dog answer. What our governor said was, there's a reg that needs to work its way through before we can move forward. It's a brilliant answer by a smart lawyer. There is a reg that's working its way through. It applies to those who have intellectual disability claims. There is a body of litigation that has been appealed up to the Supreme Court of the United States. Intellectual disability claims. Mr. Bays doesn't have an intellectual disability claim. There is no new reg, there's no new statute, there's nothing needed from the General Assembly or the courts for our governor to enforce the law of this Commonwealth and bring justice to the family of 2 slain law enforcement officers. Governor, how about it? Let's enforce the law of this Commonwealth and no more of these red herring answers. I know you're running for president. You still have a job here in our Commonwealth. Thank you all.
Thank you all very
Grateful.
much.